So I was recently asked, would I recommend people buy Star Wars Battlefront? And that got me thinking. There is a big problem with Star Wars Battlefront, and it all depends on how much you're going to play it. The simple reason is that the progression system is flawed. Now, it's flawed in quite a major way, and it's all down to the unlocks. What I'd say is that they've put too much of a restriction on the unlocks, especially when it comes to the star cards. And that's essentially because they're restricting you in two ways. You need levels to unlock star cards, and you also need the in-game currency to unlock star cards. That means that at the start of the game you have a very limited selection as to what you can use. So if you don't play very often, or if you're a new player joining Battlefront, say a couple of weeks down the line, you are going to be at a distinct disadvantage, because these basic starting cards just don't cut it. Apart from the impact grenade, which is kind of ruining the game, you don't get anything you really want until level 13, when you're going to get the jump pack. And let's face it, most people are going to want to play with a jump pack. The gold star cards are okay, and the basic options are interesting, but they don't give you the range of things you want to get. You also can't get a trait early on, and traits give you some massive advantages. Bodyguard means you can survive grenade hits. Okay, it reduces it by 25, then 50, then 75%. Scout means you don't show up on the minimap when you run. These are all things that are a massive advantage in game. You can't get them until like level 15. Explosive shot. Again, massive advantage in game. Personal shields. That's going to be an advantage, but you can't get that until you're in level 22. Barrage, the multi-grenade shot, level 24. These things all give you an advantage in game over the new players. Now you can pick cards up off your partner when you're playing. You can use their loadout. But let's face it, a lot of times in the game you don't know who your partner's going to be, and sometimes you don't even have a partner. If you take a look at the cycler rifle, it was so good in the beta, they've moved it down to level 28. That means somebody at level 28 has got a cycler rifle, you at low level have a pulse rifle. Okay, the pulse rifle's not bad, but it ain't a cycler rifle. But the high ranked players also have an advantage when it comes to the low level items, because they're upgradable. So a high level player who's spent in-game money is going to have a better thermal detonator than a new player, because his thermal detonator has a shorter cooldown because he spent 7,000 of the in-game credits. Almost all of these star cards are upgradable, and that means a higher ranked player who spent more in-game currency can have 2 grenades on 10-second cooldowns. Now sure, there's a similar system in Battlefield 4, but in Battlefield 4 at least you get classes. The trait cards are essentially classes, and you don't get those until level 15. So you've got to go through 15 levels before you get your traits. This is supposed to be a more fun and more casual first-person, third-person shooter. If that's the case, why is there such a lock-in on the abilities? Casual players are going to get penalised because they're just not going to have the abilities. Scan Pulse, which shows you all the enemies around you in a little red outline, is an amazing ability, but casual players are going to take a while to earn it. If you're one of those people that's going to pick up Star Wars Battlefront and play it at the weekend for a few hours with your mates, you're going to get into games and discover that you are completely outclassed in terms of equipment by the people who've been playing it every night for a few weeks. Similar story with the guns. Guns at the bottom of the list are better than the guns at the top of the list. Now fortunately the standard blasters in Battlefront are pretty good, but the EE3, the T21B and the DL44 are just better guns. And this is a game that doesn't let you customise your guns, so you can't just use the starting blaster and make it better as you go along. You have to buy another gun to get an upgrade. If you are going to have blatantly better guns and better star cards, then they have to be accessible. Why have the rank system in there? Just stick to the money system. You have to play the game. Money is based on experience, rank is based on experience, so why use both? Just use the money and give people the freedom to buy the star cards and guns that they want to play with. Right, so that brings me back to the original question. Would I recommend Star Wars Battlefront? I think it all depends on how much you're going to play it. If you're going to play it for a couple of hours a week, then I'd probably stick to the shooters you already enjoy. Unless you really want the Star Wars atmosphere, because Battlefront doesn't reward casual play. Thanks for watching.